Borderlands 4 is almost here, and it's doing more than adding a few new mechanics and quest changes. It's overhauling how you move, and the reshaped loot behavior could make this the best Borderlands yet. But here's the twist. While one brand new feature might be the most exciting thing we've seen in the series, another longtime system has been removed completely, and fans are already split on it. In this video, we'll cover everything new, everything updated, and why Borderlands 4 might just surprise you. Borderlands has always had a love-hate relationship with maps. The writing and combat were great, but navigating was often clunky. Stop, open your map, place a waypoint, and then get lost in winding hallways anyways. Borderlands 4 throws out the old minimap and replaces it with the Echo 4 drone, and honestly, it's one of the smartest changes they've made in the series. This has been a bit of a contentious decision in the community, but let me explain. The Echo 4 drone is basically a little floating companion that hovers nearby, and at any moment you can ping it to guide you. Instead of staring at a minimap in the corner of your screen, the drone literally projects a glowing path in the environment. It's like having a GPS scout showing you the way, so your eyes never leave the action. Exploration feels more natural because you're following something in-world, not just checking a static map every 2 minutes. But the drone does more than just play your tour guide. It's also your mobile upgrade and support station. You can access your SDUs, tweak cosmetics, and even interact with mission systems right there in the field. In older games, you'd have to wait until you go back to Sanctuary to upgrade storage or adjust your character. Now you can keep your momentum out in the world, which makes progression feel seamless. And here's where it gets even better. Echo 4 isn't passive. It actually ties into side content and world building. When you reclaim a safe house or hijack a silo, the drone helps establish them as active hubs, complete with vendors and fast travel links. It's like your partner in building the resistance presence across Kairos. Instead of just being a UI feature, Echo 4 feels like a true companion. Claptrap's useful, quiet cousin who actually helps instead of just yelling at you. Vehicles have always been a weak spot in Borderlands, more like disposable fast travel tools than part of the gameplay. Borderlands 4 changes that with the Digirunner, a personal hover bike you can summon anywhere in the open world. It's agile, combat ready, and actually fun to use, with strafe moves, boosters, and mounted weapons that feel like a true extension of your loadout. On top of that, it's customizable. Weak handling, swap hover drives, and kit it with weapons to fit your playstyle. For once, vehicles feel essential, not optional. If you've been with Borderlands since the beginning, you know movement has always been the series' weak link. The gunplay was wild, the loot was insane, but your Vault Hunter basically ran like they were trudging through wet cement. Borderlands 3 added mantling and sliding, which was nice, but compared to other modern shooters, it still felt dated. Borderlands 4 blows that limitation apart. Now you've got a full movement suite. Double jumps, dodges, gliding, even grappling hooks. Suddenly, combat arenas aren't just flat stretches. They're vertical, layered spaces designed for movement creativity. You're no longer running from cover to cover, you're chaining moves together, soaring over enemies, and attacking from angles that weren't even possible before. And these aren't just gimmicks, they're tied into the combat loop. Imagine dodging a heavy melee strike, double jumping onto a rooftop, grappling across to a turret, then gliding down while unloading your shotgun midair. That kind of fluidity makes fights feel dynamic in a way Borderlands has never pulled off before. We don't actually know yet if every movement ability is available from the start, or if some, like grappling or gliding, unlock as you progress. If they are tied to progression, it could give players a sense of growth as their traversal kit expands, making mid to late game characters feel much more dynamic than at level 1. Either way, the payoff is clear. Borderlands 4 makes movement feel as fun and flexible as the gunplay. Here's the thing about side missions in past Borderlands games. They were fun because of the writing, whether it was Scooter being ridiculous or Claptrap dragging you into nonsense, but mechanically, they were shallow. Fetch this, shoot that, turn it in. You did them mostly for the XP and the occasional gun drop, but Borderlands 4 flips that on its head. Now, side missions tie directly into long-term progression. Capturing a safe house or hijacking an order silo doesn't just clear a map marker. It creates fast travel hubs, resource points, and resistance outposts. These areas stay active after you've taken them, making the world feel like it's responding to your actions. It's not just your Vault Hunter leveling up, the entire fight against the Order is shifting because of what you did. The real hook is how side missions connect to storage deck upgrades, or SDUs. In the older games, you just paid Marcus to carry a few more rounds. Functional, but boring. SDUs are powered by tokens you can only earn by engaging with the world. Disabling propaganda speakers, cracking survivalist caches, grabbing Claptrap's capsules, or reclaiming safe houses. Each gives you tokens, and when you've got enough, you can pick the upgrade you want. Want more sniper ammo, backpack space, shotgun shells? It's your call. Best of all, missions tied to SDUs make their rewards clear, so you know when you're getting tokens on top of XP and loot. And because upgrades come from tokens instead of raw money, completing these side missions is the only way to expand your capacity. Skipping them means leaving permanent progression behind. And then there are the vaults. This is where all that exploration and silo hunting pays off. Once you collect enough vault key fragments, which you'll find often while reclaiming silos, you can craft a key and open one of the new primordial vaults. These aren't just big story dungeons like in older games. They're replayable combat arenas full of tight encounters, unique mini-bosses, and final bosses that don't just bullet sponge. On top of high-tier loot, some vaults even hand out permanent upgrades, making them a must-do if you want to max out your character. Vaults usually unlock around mid-game, think level 20 or so, but there's the best part. They aren't level capped. You can keep coming back later, even at max level, to farm gear or challenge yourself. And they aren't just random caves either. Each vault has its own themes and story beats tied to the mythology of the Guardians and mysteries of Kairos. So when you dive in, you're not just grinding, you're uncovering lore while making your Vault Hunter permanently stronger. The loop leads to a ton of replayability. Side missions feed your SDU tokens, SDUs make you stronger, silos and fragments lead you to vaults, and vaults push you into some of the best loot and lore in the game. Borderlands 4 has finally made exploration feel essential, not optional, and that's a massive shift from how these games used to play. One of the coolest new features in Borderlands 4 is the multi-faction loot system. In past games, weapons were tied to a single manufacturer, like Jacobs, Malawan, Hyperion, and each gun stuck to the company's signature style. Borderlands 4 shakes that up by letting guns mix parts from different manufacturers, creating hybrids that feel fresh and unpredictable. If you've heard them brag about 30 billion guns, this is what they're talking about. Imagine a gun with a Jacobs stock for high damage, a Malawan barrel for elemental effects, and a TDR magazine for reload tricks. Suddenly, you're not just chasing the best Jacobs gun, you're experimenting with hybrids that match your playstyle. This massively boosts replayability and makes even common drops exciting if they combine parts in unexpected ways. Borderlands 3 had a reputation for flooding players with legendaries, which dulled their impact. Borderlands 4 dials back drop rates so legendaries feel like true milestones again. I could not be happier with this change. It felt like every time I opened a crate in Borderlands 4, there was a good chance a legendary was going to pop out. Now, blues and purples are meaningful. A high tier purple with the right hybrid parts might outperform a legendary in certain builds. This shift makes loot hunting less about rarity and more about strategy. Every drop has potential, and when a legendary finally does appear, it feels like the kind of moment worth celebrating, bringing back the thrill that defined the series in the first place. Ordnance replaces the old grenade mods and heavy weapons, rolling them into a single flexible system that opens up way more room for build crafting. Instead of just carrying one type of throwable or swapping to a rocket launcher, you can now equip an ordnance slot that can be customized with different effects: explosives, energy blasts, area denial tools, or even support gadgets. Each type scales differently with skills and gear, so your choice of ordnance becomes another layer of strategy. It's not just about raw damage anymore. It's about tailoring your loadout to match your Vault Hunter's build. Borderlands 4 isn't just adding new toys. It's also shaking up or removing some of the systems longtime players have come to expect. Mayhem mode in Borderlands 3 was a huge part of the endgame. Randomized buffs and debuffs, more health, elemental effects, faster attacks, kept fights unpredictable. Think of Destiny 2's Nightfall or Heroic Strike modifiers. Weekly challenges that tweak enemy behavior, keeping encounters fresh. In Borderlands 4, Mayhem mode is gone. Instead, enemies have predetermined traits and scaling, making fights challenging in a controlled, skill-based way. Success now depends on strategy, positioning, and effective use of abilities, rather than hoping RNG doesn't screw you over. It's less chaotic than Mayhem mode, but encounters are more predictable and fair, which helps new players and co-op teams plan their approach. Finishing the main campaign in Borderlands 4 drops you straight into Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, no replay required, a major quality of life upgrade over earlier entries. Ultimate Vault Hunter mode features 5 difficulty tiers, each unlocked by completing challenges that scale enemies with tougher health and resistances. In return, you earn better loot, XP, and Iridium to fuel your build. Once those challenges are cleared, wildcard missions kick in, letting you replay story or side missions with unique enemy modifiers for high-end rewards. Farming also gets a big upgrade with Moxie's Big Encore machine, letting you instantly rematch bosses for loot without save quitting. Loot systems have evolved too, with firmware adding set bonuses to gear, with 3 power tiers and transferable traits. Meaning if you get a gear drop with a firmware you really want but don't care about the gear itself, you can transfer that firmware bonus to the piece of gear you actually care about, sacrificing the old piece. Specializations replace Guardian ranks, letting you equip passive perks for your Vault Hunters. The endgame is kept fresh with rotating content, weekly wildcard missions that guarantee legendaries, Maurice's black market machines with hidden loot caches, and seasonal mini-events like October's Horrors of Kairos. Looking forward, the roadmap includes invincible bosses, which are like raid-style fights, pearlescent gear, and DLCs such as Mad Ellie and the Vault of the Damned, ensuring new loot and challenges well into 2026. Another big change is that at launch, cross-save and cross-progression aren't available. Your progression is tied to a single platform, so PC progress won't carry over to consoles and vice versa. Crossplay is supported, so you can still team up with friends online, but if you want to preserve your long-term progress, you need to commit to one platform. Gearbox has stated that this is temporary and cross-saves will be added in future updates, so don't worry. Borderlands 4 reduces the total number of skill points compared to the previous entries. In the past, you could dump points across multiple trees and experiment wildly, which sometimes led to cookie-cutter builds. Now, each point matters. Players must make thoughtful decisions about which abilities to unlock first and how they synergize with their playstyle. The cap encourages diversity between characters and replaying the game with different Vault Hunters. Right now, skill points are primarily earned by leveling up, but Gearbox has hinted at other potential ways to earn them in the future, possibly through milestones, collectibles, or in-game activities beyond leveling. The structure of the skill tree also leaves room for future expansion in DLC or seasonal content, which could introduce new abilities or augments, further expanding customization options. I'll be doing extensive guides on every character if you're really interested in in-depth builds. Traditional co-op is also gone. The game's seamless world design made split-screen performance difficult to maintain, but it is something I kind of wish they would have included because it's such a classic way to play the game. I know not a lot of people play split-screen, so I understand them removing it. If you want to catch up on all the Borderlands lore, the video on the left is perfect for you. For more Borderlands content, check out the playlist on the right.